Greetings everyone, I'm Marv. Once again, this is my opinion. As you can tell from the title up there, I'm continuing my trek through the series from the 90s that was a big part of my childhood, one episode at a time. That, of course, is Batman, the animated series. And like I mentioned before, we are doing this in production order. So here we are with episode 7, POV. This is an episode that I don't actually remember from when I rewatched the episodes. And I don't remember when I was a kid. I only remember this one a little bit because of one of the channels I follow mentioned this. And watching it, this is an alright episode. It is very reminiscent of the classic film Rashomon, which I will get into. The episode opens with the last part of a botched police operation. Officers Wilkes and Renee Montoya show up because they're there to meet with Harvey Bullock to try to take down some type of smuggling operation. Now, Harvey seems to be in trouble. Renee and Wilkes help. Batman is there, but the collar is blown. And now, Internal Affairs wants a word with them, mainly just because of how botched it is. There's explosions, and there's a lot of chicanery that necessitates Internal Affairs getting involved. Now, they question all three. And from the get-go, you can see that all three stories are a tad different. Especially Bullock's, because he says one thing, and then we see something different. Like, my favorite is, yeah, there was some noise that caused them to get curious. He kicked over a can and fell. So that's the one difference between this episode and Rashomon, is that Rashomon, from what I read, the contradictions are only shown when you compare one story to another, whereas with this one, right from the get-go, Bullock's story is shown to be a lot of bullcrap. Now, between the other two, it's the experience. I mean, Renee Montoya has been around Gotham for a while, so her story is going to be from her perspective, but it's going to cut through a lot of the fluff. Whereas Wilkes, he's a newer officer, probably hasn't seen the Batman that much, so he's going to be a little bit more spooky when he sees it in the way that he describes what he's seeing. And, of course, shows how effective his things are against criminals, because as they say multiple times, they're a superstitious and cowardly lot. And, of course, even though Wilkes is an officer, still seeing some of that, he's going to be awed with it. Now, no one knows what happened to Batman. No one knows what all happened, because you compare the three of them, they're not in agreement with what happened. Now, because of that, the Internal Affairs officer decides to pull their badges and their guns. Now, Renee is the only one we follow throughout the rest of it, because she's really trying to think what could have caused all this. And now, one thing that is brought up is the word doc, which is said. Now, they're unable to say what they could mean by doc, which is one of the reasons their badges are pulled. But Renee's on the train. She's thinking like, Doc. She happens to look over out the window and she sees the dock at the harbor. And she's like, Doc! It makes sense for a smuggling operation. So she gets off the train and goes to the dock. She finds the crooks. They got Batman tied up. And she gets in there to help him. Now, Batman gets out of his initial predicament on his own because it's Batman. And you see he's being tied up, with his arms up with his belt off because he wants to. Once he gets the information he wants, he gets out. Now, Renee does save Batman from getting shot at one point, so that's something she does help him with. But then Batman has to save her. They get out of there, and they manage to catch the criminals. And because of this, they get their badges back. Now, the way it's shown in the episode probably would not be how it goes, with Commissioner Gordon grabbing the badges off the Internal Affairs officer and giving them back to him. But they got to get this episode in the slot and TV, so it's one of those things like, Then again, there's also the thing of why would Commissioner Gordon be in there? If there's anyone that should be in there, it would probably be counsel for them. And if anything, they'd be questioned separately, if I'm thinking of police procedure right. But cartoon for aimed more at families and all that, so allow a little bit of leeway. Now, like some of the other episodes we covered, standards and practices kind of put the kibosh on aspects of it. Because it was Sean, Catherine Derrick, and Laren Bright who created the original story for this episode and wrote the original script. But like I said, they didn't approve of it. Kevin Altieri recalled that the script was more complex when he received it. We cut out flashbacks to Montoya's youth when she was called a liar, and flashbacks to Bullock's youth when he was playing high school football when his dad yelled at him because he was using teamwork. Don't be a team player, be a star. Being a team player is for losers. Go out for number one, pal. Which, with that in there, it definitely explains Bullock's behavior in this episode, and it also explains his behavior in other episodes too. Now, it's probably some of the dialogue and stuff in there, because the depth, I do not understand why standards and practices would want character depth cut out. So maybe it's the implication of verbal abuse and all that. And it's like, oh, we can't have parents be verbally abusive. We can't have a parent give contracting advice. We've got to think about the children. Yeah, and having that in the show is thinking about the children, guys. Because on the off chance that they happen to be in that type of situation, they're more likely to speak out on it. Or if it's a situation where they know someone that's like that, they could be like, oh, well, that looks like blah blah blah's dad. It's like, that's never okay, son. You should never yell that at somebody. It just would add more to it. And without it, that part, it feels, part of the episode feels like something's missing. I mean, even without it, the episode's decent, but it could have been more than decent. And this early in the show, as we're going to see in a few episodes' time, you can still do excellent writing. Now that's the one thing I didn't notice. That one of the thugs, when he's firing, it kind of looks like he does in an arc, so it looks like he misses. Kevin Conroy doesn't have a line until 6.5 minutes, and so far this is the first episode where we only see Batman in his Batman persona. So there's that. It's like, overall, definitely not really a skippable episode if you're watching it the first time, but if you're only looking to watch the meat and potatoes of it, you could probably skip this one unless you want a little bit more of a story involving the cops and a little bit more police procedural type stuff, and then it's not skippable. Still, so for this far early on, it is a pretty decent one. Of course, the next one is going to be an episode I do remember, and that's mainly because of the fact we get to see Batman utilizing his undercover detective skills, and that, of course, will be The Forgotten. Till then, everybody.